Okay, number 1 says solve for y. What does that mean?
Subtract 5x.
Get y by itself. So yeah, we started by subtracting 5x because this is how we change it to slope-intercept form, right?
Yes.
Bring down the minus y. Instead of putting 6 minus 5x, we put minus 5x plus 6 because 6 is positive. And what do we do about the negatives in front of y? Divide by -1. All that happens when you divide by -1 is all the signs switch.
Minus. You're going pretty swishy, dude. Wait, what did we divide by?
-1.
Do you got an email?
I know, it's kind of, like, I'm afraid there will be like a email about a student or something that'll pop up and it'll be like
I'll take
you know,
you.
Oh, we have to make a graph.
Why is there a door stopper all the way up there?
it keeps the door
Why is that
wedged
so loud? I don't know.
so it doesn't rattle. All right, number 3, ready? It says, make a table of at least 3 ordered pairs, then graph the equation. You guys remember how we did this?
Yes, I think.
We made a lot of tables about a month ago. Y equals x minus 3. Like this was on the last test. Making tables was.
Oh, you can use like the -1, 0, -1.
Yeah, it says make 3, so -1, 0, 1 would be fine.
Wait, this was in that was in this chapter.
This was mostly last chapter, but on the first lesson in this chapter, we did a few of these before we did slope and Y-intercept. Okay, if you plug in -1 for x, -1 minus 3 is?
-4.
Plug in 0, 0 minus 3,
-3.
and then 1 minus 3,
-2.
-2. So go to your graph.
Oh,
Where? Oh, this is easy.
Hey,
The line.
graphs, steep. Just like my socks.
How many do we are we
You just
gonna
make a
have to
cross. That's not hard. What?
How many are we gonna have to graph in total?
I don't know. I didn't count.
Like 5.
I'm gonna guess there's gonna be like 6 or something. 2, 4, 6, 8. I think there is 8 actually.
Hey, yo, I got it.
I didn't look. I didn't look at everything, but I think there is about 8. Okay, where's -1, -4 at? Left 1, down 4.
Yeah.
So it should be about right there. 0, -3 is down 3. 1, -2. Right 1, down 2. Should we draw a line? Yes, we should.
Yes, we invented these.
Because the domain is unlimited, therefore the points are unlimited. So you draw a line.
Yeah.
We're acting kind of sus. Wait, how do we force?
If the domain, if the possible x value is infinite, then the points that we can draw are infinite. So there'd be everything along this line here. That was more of a question from last chapter. Sometimes they told us just use x equals this, this, and this. Sometimes they said use whatever you want to use. Okay, anyways, number 5. Are we ready? We still moving? It says find the x and y intercepts. I bet we forgot how to do this because this was the first lesson in the chapter. And we've only talked about it maybe once since then. How do we find the x intercept? No, that's the y-intercept.
Just kidding.
Okay, the x-intercept is where it hits the x-axis. What's always true about an x-intercept?
It's
It always has a y value of 0. So to find the x-intercept, you make the y value a 0. To find the y-intercept, you could solve for y because then it'd be slope-intercept form, but you can just make the x value a 0. The y-intercept, wherever it is, always has a 0 for the x value. Anyway, if I make the y into a 0, what's 4 times 0?
4, 0.
0. So x would equal 4. So 4, 0 is the x-intercept. If you graph 4, 0, that'd be on the x-axis, right? And then if I put 0 in for the x value, that will give me the y-intercept. If x is 0, then all I have is negative 4y equals 4. So what's y going to be in that case? Negative 1. Divide by negative 4, you get negative 1. So when x is 0, y is negative 1. That's the y-intercept. So this is, they did, I don't know if I read the directions, but it does say to graph it. So put a dot at 4, 0. Put a dot at 0, negative 1. And missed. Swing and a miss. Jackpot. Should look something like that. On number 6, I will warn you the x-intercept is a fraction. So you just got to kind of let that happen. Number 7, how do we find, actually I probably better go to the graphs for this one. How do we find the slope of a graph? Okay, we identify 2 points. Rise over run. We identify 2 points on the graph. So there's definitely one at 0, negative 1. Where's another point that the line goes through? I think there's only one that you can tell. 3, 1. Yeah, you guys see how it crosses at 3, 1. All the other places, it's like you can't tell where it's crossing it. But at 0, negative 1, you can definitely tell it's crossing there. And at 3, 1. Okay, so slope is rise over run. So how much is it rising from those 2, and how much is it running? So the slope is 2/3. So number 7 is just 2/3, or m equals 2/3.
Wait, is this on the graph?
Huh? You don't graph it. This is what the book. I was just copied what the book did.
So, wait, what's after the 2/3?
Equals m. M equals 2/3. M stands for slope. All right. Number 9. Here's something else I'm betting we forgot. Maybe somebody remembers though. How do we find the slope when they don't graph it for us? They just give us the 2 points. 5, 9, and 3, 2.
We do
Subtract
y
the
two and
second
y squared
line.
one.
We
Hold
subtract
on.
the first one from the second line.
Y two minus y one.
Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah, a couple people remembered. Yeah, y minus y.
Oh.
That kind of tells you the rise, the change in the y values, and x minus x is the run, the change in the x values. That's the formula you need to have memorized for the test. I think it shows up on like 2 problems on the test.
So is it x2 minus x1? I mean,
Okay,
y1?
does the order matter, x2 or x1 first?
No.
No, as long as you go the same direction on both of them. If you do 9 minus 2, for example, you should do 5 minus 3, or vice versa. So, but make sure you put the y's on top, and x's on bottom. Usually when people get it wrong, they put the x's on top.
So, the y's is the rise, right?
The y's, yeah. Remember y values like tell you up and down? So when you subtract the y values, that tells you how much it changes from,
And then the x is the run.
yeah, x is like replaces the run. If you understand why it works, then it's easier to remember it.
Get it?
It
Okay,
works.
never mind.
Why it works, ha 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 ha.
Be quiet, Janet.
Okay, anyways, 9 minus 7, or 9 minus 2 is 7, 5 minus 3 is 2. If it reduces, you need to reduce it. If it is like a negative over negative, you need to make it positive. But you don't have to change it to a mixed number. Usually, for slopes, we want to leave as improper fractions. Alright, number 11, same thing. What should I put on top on number 11? 9 minus 9. It's getting weird on this one. And on the bottom is 5 minus 3 again.
Oh, that one's
Okay, what is 0 over 3 equal?
0.
Or sorry, 2, I mean. Doesn't really matter. I put a 3 right there though.
It's like 0 still.
Still 0. If you forget, what happens if you have 2 over 0?
It's like a no answer.
Okay, your calculator would say error because it's dividing by 0. What does that mean about the slope though? Undefined. It means what kind of line has an undefined slope?
Vertical.
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 Vertical. It's kind of like saying what's the slope of this wall. It doesn't. Walls don't have slope. No slope. Anyway, but they call it undefined slope. What is a zero slope?
Horizontal.
Horizontal line. Like the floor has a zero slope. Okay. Where are we? 13?
So do we just write undefined slope on it?
So on number 12, it says the slope of every vertical line is what? Undefined. We just talked about that. The slope of every vertical line is undefined.
What about 11? It's 11.
Oh,
Under
you're
each.
good.
No, zero is not undefined. 0 is an actual slope. I was just saying, what if it was switched around? 0 means this is a horizontal line. That's an answer. Okay. Number 15, no, 13. Graph the line passing through, so back to the graphs again. Graph the line passing through -4, 2 with a slope of -3/4. So put a dot at -4, 2. And then the slope is -3/4. How do I use a slope of -3/4?
Wait, hold on. Wait, how did you get the first dot?
Number 13 says graph the line passing through the point -4, 2.
I'm like -3 up.
This is -4, 2.
Oh. Would it be like -3 over and then 4 up?
Okay, so remember that slope, you can put the negative kind of anywhere. You can put it on top or bottom. Remember that slope is rise over run. So we're going to rise, quote unquote, -3. So if you're rising -3, that's actually falling -3, right? And we're going to run 4. So rise -3, run 4. Rise -3,
That's a wide line.
run 4. Okay, what would have happened if I would have put the negative on the bottom? Then we could have risen +3 and run -4. See how that's on the same line? Anyways, there you go. That's it.
That was fun. On that one.
Totally.
Yes.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I used the one for December.
You still wait?
Okay, number 15.
I forgot what that's.
Number 15 says state the slope and the Y-intercept. So if you look at 14, it's written in slope-intercept form. So that's going to be easier to find the slope and the Y-intercept. But 15 is not in slope-intercept form because it's a weird one. What did the graph of x equals 4 look like? It was, yes. You go over to 4 on the x-axis and you draw a line through it, a vertical line. Okay, this is not a graphing problem, by the way. But the question is, what is state the slope. What's the slope of this line?
Undefined.
Undefined. And the Y-intercept.
0.
Where does this cross the Y-axis at?
0, 4.
Now,
Wait,
this is
wait,
the
4,
X,
0?
that's the X-axis.
Nowhere?
Yeah, it doesn't cross the Y-axis. It has no Y-intercept. It has no slope and no Y-intercept, so it's kind of a weird one. But, so we're gonna put undefined for the slope, comma, none for the Y-intercept.
I think it's from the I've already read it on my pencil.
Is this number 15?
That was 15.
And you said go away?
Undefined for the slope and none for the Y-intercept.
You sure?
Because it does not cross the Y-axis.
I need to do it.
Okay, number 17 says graph each equation using slope and Y-intercept. So we've done quite a few of these. Slope and Y-intercept. 3x plus y equals negative 6. What form is this line written in? Standard. We need it to be in slope-intercept form, so we can use the slope and the Y-intercept. How do I change it to slope-intercept form? Solve for y, get subtract 3x over.
Do you have to write this down, or do you just want the graph?
No, that's fine, you can just do that on this one. So, I'm gonna put negative 3x in front of the minus 6. It's already in slope-intercept form, right? So, where do I start at on the graph?
6. Negative 6.
Down 6. That's the y-intercept, negative 0, negative 6. Where do I go from there?
Up 3, and then go 1.
Okay, the slope is negative 3, or negative 3 over 1. So we're going to rise negative 3 and run 1. However, what's my problem here?
You can go 1 just go up 3. So
Uh,
you'll switch it.
So I'm going to, instead of doing negative 3 over 1, I'm going to do 3 over negative 1. Switch it, yeah. Put the negative on the bottom. So I'm going to rise 3 and run negative 1. Rise 3, run negative 1.
As an ancient wizard said, his name was Michael. His name was Michael because he's stupid.
Wait,
Like Michael Jordan. Wait, not him. I mean the normal Michael Jordan. The normal Michael Jordan.
Basketball one?
Yeah, no,
And
Yes.
accent.
the basketball one because he did ropes.
Wait, what?
Okay, number 19. Okay,
That sounded very weird.
19 says,
So I said,
shh, write each equation as a linear function, then graph the function. Okay, I don't think we did something exactly like this, but it's pretty much the same thing as a lot of other stuff you did. So, how do we write something in function form? Well, basically, remember that f of x replaces the y value? So really what we need to do is just solve this for y, and then just turn it into an f of x. Okay? But we also have to graph it. So how do I solve this for y? Subtract 2x, get y by itself. Then what? Okay, so what's negative 2 divided by negative 3?
2/3.
Positive 2/3. X. 9 divided by negative 3?
Negative.
Negative 3.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I change this into function form? Just replace the y with the f of x. So this would be our answer. I think they also ask us to graph it though. Okay. Yeah. How many graphs have we done so far? I think there might be more than 8.
Daddy, I have a question. Does the, what's the f of x stand for again?
It's kind of like a y. Remember when we did like find f of 2? So funny.
Wait, we did that? It's f times, yeah, I can't remember.
No, it doesn't mean times. It means just replace the x value with the 2.
Oh, okay. I got it now.
And you just plug it in.
He was a funny kid.
Okay, so I forgot what I was talking about. F of x is just a different way of writing the same thing. It just replaces the y.
Why F?
It could be any letter, but that's the one that it's kind of like why do we usually use x? I don't know. It's probably because the word is function starts with an F.
Oh, okay.
We're only halfway done.
This isn't okay.
Wait, so
We're gonna graph this, right?
Yes, 19. So where are we going to start out on the graph for 19?
Down 3.
Down 3. Y-intercept is negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. Where are we going to go from there?
Up to go to 3.
Yes. Rise. The slope is 2/3. Rise 2, run 3. Rise 2, run 3. You can also go backwards. Fall 2, backwards 3. Should look something like that.
Yeah.
make a lopsided like table.
What?
Like for a fraction, we make a fraction longer.
You mean a calculation?
No.
You're totally talking about calculation.
This was weird. Yeah. Everyone was weird. Yeah. Or like too sweet.
You found out the end song.
It's gonna be a 2-day assignment.
Look,
He
it's
said
on
this.
Friday.
He said yes on the beginning.
Yeah.
Or at the.
I told you, at the beginning of the year, I told you this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was gonna be the beginning of the year.
I'm joking, it's a 2-day assignment.
My mom's gonna start crying when she sees my final test. She's gonna be like,
Okay.
"Great, you are dead."
Yeah,
It's super good. It's supposed to be negative 3. No, I know this is gonna be like
Okay, number 20, or wait, yeah, 21. Let's go to like 25, then you guys work on some evens after we do that. 21 says, write the equation of each line in slope-intercept form. Slope of 2, y-intercept of 0, 3. What does slope-intercept form mean?
Oh, with the X and Y.
Y equals mx plus b.
Just kidding.
So if the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 0, 3, how do I write that equation?
1, 2, 3.
Yes, put the slope right there, put the y-intercept right there, that's it.
Hold on, what?
That's the answer?
Hold on. Is this?
They told us the slope, they told us the y-intercept, so we just put it in the right spots. That's the equation.
Yeah, I know. I was confused.
You never feel that useful.
Wait.
There was one.
She's
You probably could use their one.
Wait, hold on. Where did you
Oh, yeah,
get
we'll show it.
Y equals mx plus
What are
1?
you doing with that zone?
This is the slope-intercept form of line. That's how we're gonna write our equation. They told us the slope, and they told us the y-intercept on 21.
But then why does the Y?
You're right.
I get where the.
Shh, girls, hush.
Comes
Hush.
in, but why does the 3 go with the B?
The y-intercept goes right there. It's where it crosses the y-axis.
So, why not mine?
don't call it the Y because there's a Y right there. The Y-intercept is where it crosses the Y-axis. The Y value can be a lot of things, but it crosses the Y-axis at one.
Wow, my foot is having a spasm.
Okay, number 23. So this, shh, hey, be quiet. Number 23 says the line should pass through -3, -2 with a slope of 3/2. So we got the slope already, y equals 3/2. But we don't have the y-intercept on this one, they didn't tell us. They just told us the line was supposed to pass through -3, -2. So how do I find the y-intercept?
You put this like -2 in y and -3 in x.
Yes. This is an x and a y value, one of the pairs that x and y can be. So -3 is an x value and -2 is a y value. And we can use that information to figure out what b has to be. -2 is an x value, -2 is the x value, or sorry, y value. -3 is the y value. And we can use that to solve for b. You guys know what 3/2 times -3 is?
2, -2. Right? No, wait. Just kidding, just kidding.
3 times -3 is -9/2. What's -9? So you could add 9/2 like that, right? But what's 9/2 as a mixed number?
4 and 1, or 4 and 1.
4 and 1/2. 9 divided by 2 is 4, with the remainder of 1, 4.5. So you could add 4.5 also. What's -2 plus 4.5? 2.5. So that's the b value. So our answer is
Yo, Doritos and Tacos. So, Mr. Jordan, the 4.5, is that basically saying like,
that's where it's gonna cross. Oh,
no, like, how did you get that in?
how do I turn this into this?
Oh,
Or how
so
did I
that-
get-
It's the same thing,
Yeah, these are the same
Okay.
things. If you want to do this on your calculator, you could just -2 plus 9/2. That would have done it also. Okay, 25. This will be the last one for today, and then you guys work on the units for a little bit. It says the line should pass through -4, 6, and 2, 3. Okay, it doesn't tell us the slope. It does not tell us the y-intercept. So I don't know anything right now. Does anybody know how I could find the slope?
Subtract 175. Yeah. And then it's like
Okay.
y minus y minus 1.
Yes, y minus y over x minus x. So 6 minus 3 over -4 minus 2.
That's easy.
6 minus 3, -4 minus 2. What's 3 over -6 reduced to?
1/2, -1/2.
Okay. That's the slope. So what I have so far is y equals -1/2 x, but I still need the b, the y-intercept. How do I find it?
Replace it, plug it in.
Right, plug the numbers in. Doesn't matter which ones I use.
No.
No. 2 and 3 are smaller, so that's probably easier. So I'll put the 2 in for x and the 3 in for y. What is half of 2? What's -1/2 of 2? Uh-oh. Okay, and then you add 1, So our answer is that guy. Whoops. And the v value is 4. Alright, why don't you guys try some of those evens? Oh, only if you want points for it.